against this situation. This drum is the same. Before the meeting, the thought occurs, and after the meeting, the reaction, and this reaction comes from you to you from the parallel time dimension. We said there is a lifeline and you can access all times from this line. Again, there is an important KN about genes. There is a link between the genes, that is, there is a bridge link between the first and last shooter. In other words, you can go back thousands of years to your ancestor's gene through trance, or to your future relative's gene, which is a piece of you. Everything is energy, and energy has unknown aspects. People are far from such information because he never researched these issues. Generally, people believe it is magic. Yes, in the past, when knowledge was not that advanced, people were more naive in perception and believed in everything. Hocus pocus, that is magic. People who fly, people who walk on water, people who destroy matter with their eyes, and dozens of other topics, but the truth of the matter is that there is no magic, there are only facts and truths. If there is a reaction, there is definitely an answer. Newton's laws action-reaction cause is above effect, and about 300 years ago Newton made the point and said that's it for the world of matter, but the world of energy works differently from the world of matter. Academies are limited to the gravitational force and Newton's laws. So academies do not have a lot of information. Information has changed now, and today's generation does not listen to Cosinine stories anymore because there is a real understanding. Everything turned into energy, and the biological structure helped this. Without humans, information could not be processed. In short, humans integrated information into digital. She was the mermaid on the billboard in '99, but C had seen the depths of the picture, so the whole picture, what was the truth underneath? He first saw this picture in his dream in the past, and years later, when the scene he had buried came true, he realized that what he experienced was not a coincidence, and he has things to find. Years later, he realized the truth. Time was not something we thought. Time was parallel to each other and dependent on each other. A person thinks about the past more than the future, like their faults are good and bad, but when thinking about the past, we usually focus on the same moment. This causes the moment to constantly collapse. Example, today a dream about the future or an event about the future is reflected. Let this be the first time, and the second time synchronization occurs. When the event occurs, and I knew this, I have seen this in the past. The third time is after these two situations, that is, seeing and moving these two times to the third time, and the third time causes these to occur. The past and the future are like a tissue connected to each other, and the third time is the formation of moments. This is actually pyramid time, and in pyramid time there are 4 times, not 3. You understand, 1, 2, and 3 times, and the 4th time is the one that connects the inverse symmetry, that is, repetition. Another example, let's create a time scale and let time be one straight line, but in order to create that line, we must put it in a larger time dimension so that the very beginning and end of the timeline we created can fit. In other words, the established timeline has 2 poles. The other is the beginning and the other is the end. Accordingly, there is no before the beginning and there is no continuation at the end. The lines perceived as this situation and this time are always within a larger dimension. For example, entropy varies with each chemical, and biologically or chemically entropy reactions are variable, and accordingly entropy is relative and variable between dimensions, so entropy has greater entropy. Everything is intertwined and interconnected. Although everything in the material world seems messy, it is not actually messy. Everything is connected, and when one is affected, other things are also affected. People say this is science. But on what basis are we talking about an understanding of science? Add 2 and 2 make 4? Can two hydrogens be compared to one oxygen? Where is our Earth or galaxy in the universe? It is said that the planets are moving away from each other because this argument should support the Big Bang. It is called the image of the old states of the galaxies. So when we look at the distant star, we see its past state, or the sun 8 minutes ago is called. But isn't there something missing in all this? It's always called the old version, so why do we bury the image of the future if we look ahead rather than behind? If the past is visible in space, it is quite possible to see the future. And the importance of looking back, who made the decision? Simply the point is science has more unknowns than knowns. Man has recently learned about the existence of black holes. There is not much information about black holes because it is known that anything that goes into a black hole cannot come out. Another feature is that it absorbs light and therefore light cannot escape from the black hole. The question is, does the light get stuck in the black hole? Or is the black hole stuck in the light? Because there is a light-induced reaction and the light definitely affects the black hole. We have said this before, that the brain diagram and the universe's schema are the same, and accordingly the brain is the map of the universe. And not only the brain, but also the human structure is a complete copy of the world and the universe. And in principle, a black hole and an eye are the same thing. Light in the universe cannot escape the black hole in the world. Light cannot be overlooked. I said everything is electrical, and accordingly the eye absorbs the light and uses it to convert it into energy to the brain to create an image. In short, the eye performs a light trance like a receptor, that is, it irradiates the light. Light trance is a translation from the material world to the quantum level.